Hey guys, I'm here and I'm going to do some body language analysis on Cindy Watts. She's not the warmest person, and the only time we really see any true emotion from her is here at the beginning. So one can say it's real because she is, I think, in this part of the interview thinking of her son and how he was wronged, and that's where the emotion comes from. Or it's just a complete act, and then she's not an actress, so therefore she forgets to keep playing that sad role. So anyways, let's watch her here.
And just crying, thinking this is not gonna happen every single day. It's just so hard to get through it. I just don't know how to get through it.
Tell me about his childhood. Did he play sports? Was he in scouts? What kinds of things did
Yes, he played sports. He played sports from the time he was 5 years old up until he was 17.
Okay, so she switches really fast, right? Back to her normal self. Never really saw any real tears, and I don't know, my gut says she was faking it, but I think she is concerned about Chris. So, here we go. It might be off a little bit, but here we go.
Up until he was 17. And he was in basketball, he was in baseball, he was in football, and he loved NASCAR. He and his dad went to NASCAR races all the time.
One has to wonder how many times they went, and if he really loved sports and he loved NASCAR, because her body language says he doesn't. She shakes her head no. Yes, he loved to go. It's off-putting. It's not congruent.
He loved sports. He loved sports. And he was a good kid. Had two best friends.
Okay, again, she's shaking her head no, and she had to really think about what she was saying there. So, do I think that Chris Watts was a good kid, maybe out on the surface to everyone? But I definitely think he had some demons that he did not share with anyone, nor did the Watts. But they did know that maybe something was off.
And that's who we grew up with and still are friends with them today.
See how congruent that is?
There's nothing that would have predicted any of this could have ever happened.
No.
Nothing in his childhood at all. I would never in a million years thought something like this could happen to him at all.
Okay, so her body language is agreeing with that. She's shaking her head no, even though she's using the words never. It doesn't matter because her body is agreeing with what she's saying. So she never anticipated for this to happen.
He didn't see things like him getting into fights.
No fighting. He was quiet, and he got along with people, and he didn't start anything, and
Isn't that interesting? He didn't start anything. Okay, so if someone was arguing with him, did that mean that he then would stand up for himself and say stuff? So there might be a little bit more to that than she's telling us.
he was a perfect teenager, to tell you the truth. He did not.
See how big her eyes got? She wants you to believe what she's telling you. She's trying to sell it to you.
Not even rebel. He wanted to go to NASCAR Tech. We made that possible for him.
What did he do after he finished school?
He worked at the dealership as service technician.
See how congruent that was? You nod your head yes when you're saying something that is true. And you're saying, yes, that happened. And then if you're saying no, something didn't happen, you'd be saying no. Not, I don't even know if I can do it. No. I mean, that's how your body can tell that you're lying.
and was making good money and loved it.
He did not love
He
it.
got a toolbox and he started buying his tools.
What a random thing out of all of that to say. He bought a toolbox. Doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying to show you what kind of a wackadoo she is.
And enjoyed it.
He did not.
He was doing well.
When and where did he meet Shanann?
They met and he liked her, she liked him, but it didn't.
She doesn't answer the question. She goes to saying what she wants to say herself. The story she wants to tell.
I don't think that it was love
Look at that look on that face too. It's a look of disgust.
at first sight or anything. They took a little while and I guess got to know each other and, dated. He was always a little strange that she always said a lot of things about Chris in front of me that I didn't like.
So I can't tell if that's like a complete lie. She blinks a lot. Her nose is up like this, and then she's blinking a lot. It really wouldn't matter if she's telling the truth there or not, because it doesn't change the scenario. But I'm just trying to show you what Shanann had to deal with.
But this isn't the kind of person I would date. He doesn't know how to do this, or he doesn't know how to do that. He looks like a skater boy. Look at his hair. Look how much stuff he puts on his hair. It's just.
What's wrong with being a skater boy, by the way? Like, is that like an insult? I had a lot of skater friends, so that's not an insult. And gel in his hair? I don't think I've ever met any of my friends that didn't use gel in their hair. Males, speaking of. What's weird about that?
It was just on and on and on, and I just got a bad feeling.
And they got married in 2012. Did they get married in North Carolina?
Did it? Mm-hmm.
How's that?
We didn't attend.
Really?
Mm-mm. We didn't attend because Shanann and I just couldn't get along. And I didn't like the way she treated him.
What do you know about their marriage and their issues?
Oh, very little. Very little. You can only observe. I can only observe what I saw when I was around them. Christopher was always being anxious, and when
Okay, so pay attention to how her eyes are like, it's of course the way into the soul, but watch her eyes. When they go to the left, which they go a lot, she's lying about something. So it's like, I almost feel like Shanann, you could have brought in Princess Diana and it wouldn't have been good enough for Chris for this lady. But I don't know, the crinkling of the forehead, she's just a very angry human.
she needed something, he would run. He wouldn't walk, he would run, he would get it. He just always seemed to be right there at her beck and call.
And did that seem odd to you?
Very odd. It was very odd. He just seemed.
What's odd about being in love? What's odd about helping your significant other out? I mean, she makes this into a bigger deal than it is.
Nervous.
So how much did you see them over these last 6 years?
Probably twice a year. We would go up there.
Did you stay with them? Or?
Yeah, we would stay with them. And stay a week and then come back home.
Tell me about Bella and Celeste.
Oh,
Okay, and I'm going to give you my truth on this when we talk about it. Some of you may have some hating comments to say. You can. But this is my genuine perspective on how she feels about her grandchildren. I'll let you listen and then I'll tell you.
Bella was just like Chris. Just like him, shy, cautious, conservative. Cece was a ball of fire. She was fearless, completely fearless. She just loved to run. So they were wonderful. This breaks my heart to know that they're not here. They were beautiful children, beautiful children.
What did they call you?
Me,
And you met about Ronnie, what did they call you?
Papa.
Do you think Chris loves Shanann?
Okay. Do you want to go back and watch it again? Because her body language is incongruent with saying how much she's going to miss them. I mean,
They were wonderful.
look at her head shake now.
This breaks my heart to know that they're not here. They were beautiful children.
She doesn't think that.
Beautiful children.
What did they call you?
Me,
She does not. She did not like her grandchildren. She didn't. Mm-mm. At least in this interview, it doesn't seem like she does.
And you met about Ronnie, what did they call you?
Papa.
Do you think Chris loves Shanann?
Oh God, he loved her. Yes, I believe he loved her at first. I believe he did. But I think as the years went on, I think it just being in that kind of a relationship, which the social worker even said, that marriage should have ended a long time ago.
Shanann's pregnancy and what did Chris tell you about that? Was he excited?
No, I don't think he was.
I don't think she knows, really. She's assuming. Because she hesitates, and then she answers how she felt, not how Chris felt.
I think it was a shock to him. And he said that they have been talking about divorce. So that, they are not compatible anymore. And he was not happy anymore. And I finally thought he finally seen the light.
And I think that Chris had never been in trouble with the law.
Did you see how when she was talking about Chris and Shanann getting a divorce, not being in love anymore, her body is congruent because she's shaking it no. And so that's how, when you go back to look at the other ones, and she's shaking her head no, it doesn't make sense.
We've got one skating ticket. We didn't even know about that.
Tell me what happened when they were reported missing. What did you find out? How did you find out? Who told you?
I think Ronnie called me.
Okay, let's stop right there for a second. She thinks, if my son had called to tell me that their family was missing, I would know verbatim the timeline.
Ron called me and said that they're missing, and I thought, I don't believe it. I didn't believe they were missing. I believe that she was going to punish Chris.
What a cold-hearted snake. Are you kidding me?
She was just going to punish him, take the girls, and just punish him. I had no idea of anything else. Christopher called.
I don't know if I believe her on that part, guys, because it's the way she holds her mouth, like, still. I don't know.
And said, Mom, they're searching the house. I said, okay, that's fine. I mean, and I still was not worried. I was not worried. I just thought
She definitely was not concerned.
man had run off with girls.
Yeah, because that's so Shanann's personality. She's just going to run off with the girls. Like, what indication has Shanann ever done to make her think she'd just run off with the girls and leave everything? Nothing.
So walk me through the sequence of events over the next few days. Did you and your husband travel to Colorado?
Ronnie did.
Okay.
Ronnie did. And, I mean, Christopher let everybody come in. Her phone was there. Her purse was there. Everything was there. And
Yeah, because her stuff was there. Her phone was found because her best friend Nicole's son found it. It was hidden underneath a cushion, and Nicole's son found it. It wasn't like, oh yeah, it was just out in plain sight. No, B, listen.
There's no kids, and there's no Shannon. And I was not worried. You know, I thought she was just going off and I'm going to punish you for this and you can worry about me. But when Christopher called us and he said, I said, do you want us to come down now? He said, tell Dad I need him. Tell Dad I need him to come down. I said, what about me? He said, no, Mom, just stay. Just send Dad. And we picked him up at the airport and they drove to the police station. And Chris still didn't say anything to him. Nothing. He had already been interrogated 7 hours prior to that. He had already let the police go into his home, search everything. And he was going in for another interrogation. The next day, after 5 hours, they called Ronnie and said that your son wants to talk to you before he tells us anything. And that's when Christopher broke down and cried and said, I'm sorry, Dad. He said, I went to the range and I killed her after she killed Cece and Bella. And we found out where he is and then they wouldn't let him see him. He couldn't see him. And so he was going back to the airport when his public defender called him and told him to come back. So that's when Ronnie met his public defender. And so talked to her for a while. And they kept in touch with us and let us know what's going on.
So I'm assuming he didn't talk to the lawyer for a while because she shook her head no. And then right after she said they stayed in contact, she shook her head yes. So, and like, again, the only time emotion is starting to come is when she's talking about Chris and how injustice was to him.
What was the next update that you got? Was it?
The next update I got was Ronnie called Jamie and told them they found their bodies. And they rushed over here. Nobody told me anything until they walked through the door. And they told me what happened, and I just fell to the floor. I just fell
She did not fall to the floor. She's lying here, okay?
to the floor. It was unbelievable. It's been unbelievable ever since. And
What did his attorneys tell you about contact with him, starting with his arrest?
no contact. Everything was recorded.
Okay, so this is where she gets really, like, passionate. And then this part, she just said it. Everything is recorded. Okay. So you don't want to talk to him because everything's being recorded? Like, what does that statement even mean? Right?
No contact. No letter writing. I didn't see the harm in the letter. Hi, son. Love you. Keep fighting. We are here to support you. What is wrong with that? What can the DA do about letters like this? Why couldn't we?
I don't think that's what she said or was wanting to say to Chris, because she's, again, incongruent with her body language.
Just write him a letter? We did what we were told to do. When they called us to tell us that Chris was thinking of a plea, that he wanted to speak to us about it. And when we got down there, it was a lie. They wouldn't let us talk to him about anything. And then we had to talk to him through a screen and a phone. And he just looked, he was crying. I mean, he wasn't crying. He could see the movement in his mouth that when I talked about Bella and I talked about Cece and the memorial service that we had for them. And he asked what pictures.
Okay, hold on. I wanted to say something before we get into the next part because there's stuff to say about this. She's acting like he isn't in trouble, that he has done nothing wrong. Like she cannot believe that she can't have contact with him, that she can't do this, the other. She had to sit behind a screen and talk to him. Well, guess what? He lost his rights because of murder. Yes, murder. That is why he has no rights. Okay, and this next part coming up too, again, it's about her grandchildren and what she says to Chris, and it's not truthful.
Did we use, and what was the song? You can see how he was trying to hold back tears.
What day was that? Do you remember?
Well, we flew in on that Monday. We flew in on Monday, and we saw him Monday night, and then the plea deal was on Tuesday.
So Monday night was when you wanted to talk to him about
Yes, and we weren't allowed. And it would have helped us so much to be able to talk to him. I wouldn't have to go through all this now. Everything just seems to be shrouded in secrecy.
Okay, now that's an interesting statement, right? Shrouded in secrecy. Boy, is it ever. My question is she believes that her son is so innocent, why haven't they went after AV?
And to tell us what is going on. And let us ask Chris if it's okay if he talks to us.
There's another statement. Chris has lost all his rights. He has no rights. You don't ask Chris anything. He doesn't get to any more.
I just don't like the way it was handled from the very beginning. I don't like the way it was handled. I want to save your life. That's all. We're going to save his life.
You're going to save his life. What about the people that died already? What about the people that were killed? But you're so worried about Chris. How dare you?
We want him to get life in prison. It was like they already knew he was guilty. And this
Because he admitted it.
was the end of it.
Were you worried about the death penalty being a possibility?
No, I don't care about the death penalty. Nobody's going to die in Colorado.
Who says that? I don't care about the death penalty. And then nobody's going to die in Colorado. So obviously she Googled and looked this stuff up, right? But she's not worried about the death penalty. I mean, I would be if it was my kid.
I don't think anyone has, one person? Colorado is changing. So people stay on death row forever. There was no, I think you'd be safe on death row. Her parents said they didn't want any more death. So I don't see how the death penalty could have mattered. All I want is the truth. I just want the truth. That's it. And I know Chris would take responsibility. And I guess,
The constant nodding of no. This lady, seriously. She wants the truth. I don't know if she really does. I don't think, the way her body language is saying that, she doesn't want the truth.
maybe he is. I don't know. I just can't see him doing that.
What do you think the truth is about how Shanann and Bella and Celeste started?
Oh, God, I don't know anymore. Honestly. I don't know his frame of mind, and I don't know his frame of mind. Because why would he plead guilty to something he didn't do? And that's all I want to know. Why would you plead guilty if you didn't do it? If you told your dad you didn't do it? And that's what I want to know. And they said, well, you'll find all that out. Christopher will talk to you when and after he's sentenced. Well, isn't that too late then? And is it too late? What if he tells me, no, I didn't do it? I just took this plea deal because they told me I was going to go to jail anyway. I just want the truth. All of us just want the truth. That's all. But I would like to know what what triggered it, and a perfectly normal young man, and he's normal. He was normal, but he wasn't evaluated when he came into the system. He wasn't normal if he did this.
Must be bewildering.
It's bewildering.
Okay, he wasn't normal. He wasn't normal. Fine. So this is what leads me down the road of, I'm going to just say it, something dark in that house that could have affected him. I'm just going to say it because that's like what I really do think. I think AV had a lot to do with it. I think she took care of a couple of them, and then I think he did the other. But I think that she lived there all summer with him, and I think that something dark was living there too and influenced him.
To me, it is absolutely, how does this happen? How did this happen? And I go back in my mind thinking, was there something I didn't pick up with on Chris? But I can't think of anything except he was quiet.
It sounds like in your own mind, you're unsure as to what happened.
Yes.
Have you reconciled the idea that he could have done all of this?
Yes. And that scares me to death. It scares me to death to think that he could have done all of this.
Her body language is congruent. She's saying yes. She's answering it correctly, and her body is going with what she's saying.
And I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there right now. But I don't see why he's pleading guilty. I wouldn't. I'd fight. I'd fight to the end. But then you ask yourself, would a normal person dispose of the body the way he did? And I would have called 911 if it happened like that.
What would you say to Chris right now if he were sitting here?
If we were by ourselves?
Yeah.
Was that a weird statement? If we were by ourselves? And then, of course, she answers like if they weren't by themselves.
I would say, Christopher, I need to know what happened that night. I need to know what happened. I've got to get these thoughts out of my head. What I think could have happened, but I need to know. And I think in time he will tell me.
Probably nothing you ever would have imagined in that face.
Never. Never.
She's upset again because she's speaking about Chris and talking to Chris, not about her grandchildren that have been murdered, not about her daughter-in-law that has been murdered, not about the baby that was coming being murdered. These are tears about her son getting injustice.
And not from the son that I raised and Ronnie raised and our children, you know, we just did everything for them. We worked for them, and we wanted them to have a good life and education, at least stressed education.
What does education have to do with the murders? Like, something's wrong. She's mental.
And they were both doing well.
They were not.
I thought, you know what, marriages can be bad, but you can get out of them and go on. But I don't know what was going through anybody's mind that night. I mean, I feel too much. I mean, I definitely feel everything way too much and have a conscience that
I'm not sure she does. I want her to get back to being congruent when she's saying this, and it's like hard to watch it because it's like she's lying.
I just feel way too much.
What do you want to happen now? What would you hope would happen now?
Well, I want Chris to have his I could talk to him and he could tell me what happened. And then we can all go on. But if he didn't do it, if he did not do this, then I need somebody to send him. I need someone to send him if he did not do this. Do they have the evidence? He's my son. I've got to do everything I've got to do everything I can to help, to make sure that he is defended properly.
And I would be okay with that because I can empathize with that, you know, as the majority of us probably could. But if all through the beginning of this interview, she would have had a little bit more compassion about Shanann, or she'd had a little bit more compassion about her grandchildren, I could be a little bit more compassionate now. But since there was none of that, it's hard to be compassionate for her.
But he said this was his decision, so I don't know. There's doubt. I have doubt that he did. I can't see that he did it.
Okay, she can't see that he did it, right? And so, do you think she thinks Apocalyptic Vagina was involved?
I just cannot see him doing that as much as he loved his girls. How do you do that? I just don't see it. I just can't see him doing it. I just wanted to make sure that he has...
To the girls. I know Shanann is a girl, but I think she's referring to her children, to her grandchildren, that Chris could not do that to his girls, his little girls. And I don't think he did.
I just wanted to defend. I wanted him to be defended.
And you haven't had any discussions with his attorneys about this?
No. I asked them, do you know what happened? They said no.
Who'd she ask? Because she just said she didn't talk to the lawyers.
We don't. Only person that knows what happened is Chris. Well, then he told you his story, you know, in the affidavit. They said they would defend him if he wanted to go forward, but he said he didn't want to go forward.
And the bottom line is you would have liked to have been part of that discussion with
I
him
would
before you
have.
made that decision.
That's what I thought we were going down there for. At least let us talk to him. Let us talk to him. It would have made all the difference in the world if they would have just let us talk to him. If he was going to do this, what difference does it make who's listening? But he has our love. He has our unconditional love. I will never abandon my son. He did a horrible...
I don't know if you caught that a second ago, but she said at this point that who cares who's listening at this point. She said that. Did you hear her?
You want to go forward?
And the bottom line is you would have liked to have been part of that discussion with
I
him
would
before you
have.
made that decision.
That's what I thought we were going down there for. At least let us talk to him. Let us talk to him. It would have made all the difference in the world if they would have just let us talk to him. If he was going to do this, what difference does it make who's listening?
See?
But he has our love. He has our unconditional love. I will never abandon my son. He did a horrible, if that comes to pass that he did this, then I still love him. He's my son. And I will always love him. And a lot of people don't understand that, and I don't understand that, why they don't.
Well, you talked a little bit about some things we talked about yesterday. You said, yeah, I think your exact words were, he's not the psychopath next
He
door.
isn't. He's not the sociopath next door. He's not the psychopath. He didn't kill little small animals. He didn't do any of these things. He was a good child.
Again, guys, the nose raise, I'm telling you, something probably happened in his childhood too that she goes back to thinking about, thinking that could have been a sign of trouble. But I honestly think that if there's anything from any parent with mental illness or something, this is who it comes from right here. Her.
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything that was abnormal about him, except he was socially awkward. You know, he had trouble socializing, but so did I when I was younger. I think you learn that as you grow, and I think he felt a little bit more comfortable and more comfortable in his skin, and he just, I don't think he just had the right person at his side. I don't. That relationship was toxic from the very beginning.
What would you say to Shanann's family if you talked to them?
I'm so sorry this happened. You know, for both our families, we both lost everything. You know, they lost a daughter, we lost our son, we lost our grandchildren. We are lost.
Okay, I stopped it. Yeah, they all lost. Doing the body language on her, I guess basically is what I'm just trying to say is she's pretty cold-hearted. I think that there were probably some tendencies back in Chris's younger years that could have been red flags to her, to thinking that he's not quite right. Again, these are my opinions. But I think she had a huge hand in how he turned out, and I'm not sure she's completely mentally all there either. And I don't know, that's just my observation from watching her. Something else that's interesting to do is try to watch her with no noise and watch her body. The way, it's just crazy. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I am going to do some more Ovilus sessions here in the future with Shanann, and yeah, so look for those, okay? Like and subscribe. See ya.